Firstly, Nat Fife.
Yeah, he trained 2 days ago. You guys were there having a look, were you? Yeah. And he did full session today, so named.
What was the issue? Was it a knee problem with Fife?
He just wrenched his knee a bit, and he got checked out in Melbourne. Nothing concerned. A couple of weeks off. And Monday was still feeling his way. We tried him in a brace. He didn't like it. He threw it off. Finished the session. He did from start to finish today.
So will he have to do anything on the morning of the match, Ross, or that's it?
No, yeah. So look, if anything, like all players, they all get through the last session. From there, if anything happens, well, you've got the flexibility. Hence, we'll take the 3 travelling emergencies. We don't always take 3, but there's no peel game, and we can get them back. They can fly out after the bounce of the ball. So, yeah, we've got reasonable flexibility.
Is that why Colin Sylvia's made the trip as well? No game for peel this week, so he's Melbourne.
Well, he might be in yet. Eh? Not many surprises left in life, so we'll leave one to... When do the teams come out?
Tomorrow.
Oh, okay. There we go.
The expectation with him, I guess, from us anyway, was that he wouldn't play for Peel, and he probably was a little bit...
He played for Peel last week.
Yeah, and he wouldn't play this weekend.
Why is that?
In the last couple of days,
Why did you think?
The expectation from us was that he might not play this weekend. He might have been...
Why, to the AFL or
the
Peel?
AFL, yeah, the AFL.
Yeah, well, he still mightn't.
Okay. So he's travelling and
He's in the 25, so we've named 25 is my understanding. We've got some flexibility to fine-tune things, see everyone pulls up without being too cute about it, and then we'll name our 22, final 22. But yeah, he went down, he's played 2.5 practice games, so he's got about 260 minutes of AFL football. He's finally got some continuity, you know, but there's some people in form as well that he has to try and go past. So, as I said, Daniel Pearce had been under a little bit of doubt, but he trained fully. But with those guys, you've got to see that they train, and then it's really 24 hours afterwards, after the flight, how they pull up. So, yeah.
Valentine, no problems?
No problem at all. Yeah, he had a corky that wasn't behaving typically, and it took a little bit longer to settle. And but from there, yeah, you know, Ballas, he's raring to go. So. And Michael Walters as well. So they're really dangerous small forwards for us, you know. So.
We saw with Zach Clark last year that he was able to come straight in after injuries. Would that be the same?
Yeah, no, we've named him obviously as a precaution because there's so many, I don't know all the machinations, but if you don't get your emergencies right or have flexibility, there's fair fines if you have to call in someone from the outside. So, yeah, he can play if we need be, but at this stage he's one we're definite. He's not in the perceived 22, but he, if anything was ajar, he could certainly play.
Are there any concerns with any of your tools, Ross?
No, not particularly, yeah. But just the way it's structured up in the protocols, he's one.
Do you structure up any differently with White and Reid being ruled out today?
No, we find, you know, clearly you'd know Luke and Zach are our anchor defenders, and Michael Johnson can play in anything from small forward to a tall forward, so that's the way we go. You know, and Duffield can play tall as well. So.
Is there a chance you'll just go in with one with Sam once he's been such a good perform in the pre-season with the one ruckman, or you?
No, Jack Hanneth will play. Yeah.
You mentioned Monday night on radio. You had a good look at Collingwood up at Metricon. What did you learn from there?
Yeah, look, I learned they got really good resilience and fitness base because it was very much like our West Coast Eagles. It was about 36 degrees in the middle of the day. And they started poorly, but they come from a 6 goals down to head the Gold Coast and win the game. So their clearance work was very good. Their midfield really got to work. Swan, Pendlebury, Beams, Ball, Young, you know, side bottom, and young Grundy, and young Taylor Adams. So we know their very best mix in the midfield is as good as anyone's. And once they got on top, they gave Cloak really good supply, and he was able to do some damage. So. And they kicked a lot of goals from clearances. So we've got a handle on them. We've still got some more work to do to prepare. But at the end of the day, our philosophy is to play our brand, play the way we play, and we feel that will take care of business if we bring that to life.
Across the NAB, they handballed, I think it was probably about 51% of the time. Is that the same up against the Gold Coast?
Look, I think you'll find, I think it's on record, isn't it? They handballed a lot more in the first half, kicked more in the second. So often that's about pressure. If there's a lot of pressure, you tend to handball because you haven't got time to kick. So as the pressure fell away, they got more time and space, and they started to use the ball really well. So we'll have to make sure our pressure's of a very high standard.
Just back on Colin Sylvia, what are your expectations of him for the season and also that?
Well, look, we're here to talk about round 1 and training. We know he's been interrupted, finally got some continuity. Our expectation, he, like all players, he just plays a role. What's his role? Midfield forward. and to bring great effort to the table, because it doesn't matter how much talent you've got, if you don't bring consistent effort to the training track and within games, you're not going to be a consistent AFL player. So that's the expectation, not only for Colin but all our players, and we just found that has stood us in really good stead as a philosophy how you should go about your footy. And people tend to grow when every time they come to train and meetings they concentrate and they give great effort. So that's what we're about and what we expect of Colin.
And can you give us a hint at all whether you will be in the final 22?
I think I've done that, haven't I? I feel like I've answered that question. Yeah.
Ross, any added pressure being the first game of the season, Friday night against Collingwood?
No, it's more the not so much pressure. Look, the footy world will watch, but that's part of it. That every week there's great expectation. No one puts more pressure on the players and the coaches than we do ourselves. So our pride in performance and trying to please our members and fans and partners is something we take really seriously. The anxiety comes from we haven't seen Collingwood and they haven't seen us in real AFL games and situations and intensity. So you can rehearse it as much as you like, but it's always going to be a bit off what you hit. And so you're talking about their ball use, what's changed. So there's a little bit of uncertainty there and who's in really good form and who's not. So from my end, you're just reaching around and it's your first time you've prepared in this manner to this extent. So that's where the nervousness comes from.
Any new tricks for this season, Ross? I mean, we're always looking to take the game. I know you mentioned Clarkson with Hawthorn. Looks like they've moved in one.
Have they?
Tell us what it is, but during the off-season, have you been working on something or a couple of things with Fremantle?
Well, I don't like the term tricks because tricks don't win you games. There's not too many trick coaches in the AFL. So it is. I'm, unabashed fan of the basics over and over again, and that would be our trick. If you go to the West Coast Eagle game, what was the trick we didn't execute too well? We fumbled a lot, and they scored off fumbles. So, no, I'm about the basics, and we've mooted positional flexibility, some slight structural changes and stoppages, but at the end of the day, it's about winning the ball and using it well, and when they've got to get it back off them. So, yeah, not too many tricks.
Some of the quick ball movement, coast-to-coast stuff that we saw in the NAB Challenge, we expect to see that in the season proper?
Well, that's the aim. Yeah, that's the aim. I think all teams aim to move it quickly, just sometimes opposition don't allow you to.
Ross, the season opener, is it a good reward for a good solid couple of years that the club's put in?
Yeah, look, on the surface, but sometimes Richmond, Carlton, both of them weren't travelling well. Why did they open it? I'm not too sure. I think it's historical and they've got big membership bases. So, but in this case, we'd like to think two finals teams well performed, and you get that opportunity. It's a marquee game. It's great for the whole club, and in this case, we feel we've earned it. But it's an opportunity we need to try and take hold of, and we need to play well on the big stage.
Nice to get Collingwood early in the season that Etihad rather than without the MCG being available.
No, we don't. We're anywhere, anytime. We don't really care, to be honest.
Borrowing from another coach for a second, Wayne Bennett used to say the more big games his players played in, the better they became at them, the better they became at executing at the right times. Do you agree with that idea?
Well, Wayne's a better coach than me, so if Wayne says it, I'm not going to sort of admonish Wayne. He's pretty impressive and been able to deliver. So, but it's more. If you play against quality consistently, you get challenged more often, and the more you challenge, the more you stretch, and the more you grow, and you should improve. So I think it's as simple as that. More than we use the big game. It's only worth 4 points. So there's going to be 9 winners and losers come round one. So half of them will have their season written off, and half will be on their way. So we're just keen to write our own story. That's what we've done. Everyone's written different headlines over the last 2 years. There's been disasters. It's never as good and it's never as bad as you think. And after round one, it's not going to be as good or as bad as people write. So that's how I think about things.
Ross, very early start to the season. Do you feel ready?
Do I feel ready? I'm here. If I wasn't ready, I wouldn't have turned up. Thanks.